Hello, my name is Linda, also known as Torta Jala around the internet, and I love creative journaling and all things stationery. And today I want to share my 2024 mid-year planner and journal check-in. I know it's kind of late, but there's definitely been a lot going on, and I'm sort of doing like a summer catch-up for sure. In my planner and journal lineup, I did do one at the sort of beginning of the year. There are definitely a lot of like tried and true, systems notebooks that are constant, as well as those that have fallen into the graveyard, not being used at all, unfortunately. So I've got a bunch of stuff here to show you, and we'll go through one by one. So if you want to take a peek, go and grab your favorite beverage and settle in for some chatty journal time. So generally, I think it's a great idea to do a review of your planner and journal situation. For those of us who love like analog tools, we are bound to be constantly like exploring and trying new products and systems. And I really do think it can be helpful to stop every now and again and do a techokai, which is that Japanese term for basically having a meeting about your planners. So if you can do this like yearly, quarterly, monthly, even weekly, in some fashion or another. It's really just like a review, right? So people often do weekly reviews of their like planning, how their days went, what was working, what was not working. I think it's a really good practice, and I'm trying to get more into that habit of like doing reviews, rather than like only thinking about it like once a year, when you do your lineup. I don't think that reviews necessarily have to like take a long time. It's just asking yourself some questions and taking a few moments to like learn from your past, so you don't keep doing like things that don't work. The idea of reviews, it really reminds me of like my old corporate work days when we would have project post-mortem meetings and people would hate them, but honestly I believe they were good practices in general, because it forces you to look at what has been done and how it was going, how did it end, or how did it work out, and you sort of can like plainly see what works and what doesn't work, and where are the pain points, like what are the actual problems that you need to solve, and what can you tweak, to make things be better. That way you can move forward with like better intentions, better plans based on actual data of past projects and experiences. I think it totally makes sense, right, to learn from your own experiences so that you're constantly like honing your process, learning more about yourself and your habits, just more and more to be able to better serve yourself and hopefully not fall into like confusion and upheaval all of the time. So on the planning front, I have followed Sarah Cannon's, she has a channel here, Heart Breathings, her HB90 online course for goal setting and planning. I've been doing this for over a year, many quarters, and I do feel that every single quarter I get better at it and plan better. Sometimes I've maybe not gotten through the whole course, or like sort of done it badly, just depending on what has been going on in life. But I've definitely just gotten better every single time. I think most people can relate. Like whenever you do something new, it's not always going to go smooth. It doesn't work out perfectly because you're like a beginner, but just going through the process multiple times, multiple quarters in practice, I can really see how much it helps with my clarity, goals, planning for the future, and estimating time of doing things. I do feel that I'm getting better at planning for myself and not making like outrageous, unrealistic plans, basically. So I am using my Filofax crock in personal size, fuchsia color. I have an unboxing of this in my channel if you're interested. I really love this beautiful cover. It's so bright and fun, and I am using it to hold all of my quarterly goal planning kind of stuff. In the HB90 course, there's like a huge workbook. I don't print out the whole thing. It's just like ginormous with lots of information. I really just go through the class every quarter, go do the exercises, do all of the planning and all the crazy stuff out on paper. And of course, it's very messy. But then I create my own like summary pages and the things that will help me, and put it all in this binder. So my priorities for the next quarter, my 3 big goals, the plans of what I need to do to make it all happen, all the tasks that have to be checked off, it's all here. But it's presented in a fun manner so that I want to flip through this and look at it. And in the past, I have tried many different like styles and systems, planner types, super minimal to like digital, other analog notebooks. I just know that for this quarterly plan, I want it to be like a happy medium between decorative and functional. I don't think that I could do the decorative thing like on a daily basis. It just takes too much time, and that's not what maybe what I need or want. But for this like quarterly sort of like, it's like a roadmap, right? Like your plans for the quarter. Like I want it all. I want it to be decorative. I want both, that it's decorative and functional. So that's the system that I'm trying to create more for myself here. There's decorative stuff in here, of course, because I find it motivational. And again, it makes me want to flip through this, but it has like my 3 big priority goals spelled out. I have the tasks that I need to do and check off. It's like the master plan for the quarter. And I can regularly flip through this to re-motivate myself, to reorient myself on my priorities and not get sidetracked, because it's so easy to get sidetracked on a million ideas, and obviously to refer to this for like monthly planning, tasks, etc., all the stuff that needs to be checked off. So that's what this planner is for. And I still have my daily pocket-sized planner that I've talked about before in a previous video, where I scribble like notes and things like that. It's really just my daily log. So I'm still using this. It just really helps me with reminding what actually happened during a day. So I guess it's not really planning it, but it's like a daily log. So when I go back to journal or memory keep or whatever it is I need to do, when I need like that factual information, like when did that happen, who did I talk to, or like blah 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 on a particular day, this is what I refer to. So this is the daily log, and it's still going strong. In the beginning of the year, I did share this, and I was trying to be decorative about it because I was like, oh, maybe I'll use it more if I, put stickers and things like that. But that died out really fast, and I realized that I don't want to keep this, and I just need it to be functional to refer to in like the months around like the current date, you know what I mean? But way in the future, I would never look back at this. So it's really just a functional daily log, and I like it to be dated because then, it's just easy to flip through and like write all the notes on the day, like at the end of the day, like words, you know what I mean? Like this happened, whatever. And so I don't need it to be pretty, because I do memory keep, but in other ways, not in here. So that this is still going, my daily log. And now what about my actual like planning, like to-do lists, notes, that kind of stuff. I've shared in a previous video where I went bare bones. So I printed out a monthly calendar on a sheet of paper and just planned everything here, high level schedules, things that have to happen on a particular day, on the actual day. But then it's just a big to-do list for the month because most of my stuff is like on a monthly basis. And it was working fine for me, even though it's not something that I have like on me. It's just sitting on my desk. So it's only when I'm sitting down at my desk to get something done that I can refer to all this information. So it works fine because I'm always trying to get ahead and do things ahead of time, schedule out things. And if you are any kind of content creator, you know that you're probably scheduling things out way in ahead as well. So it's fine, but I felt that in my planning system, I was just missing the whole everyday carry kind of thing. And I totally fell down the rabbit hole of wanting an everyday carry, basically feeling like maybe I could get more done or maybe be able to think about things more strategically if I had like the plans, with me. Because normally it's just at my desk and I'm not always, upstairs in the corner at my desk. I'm around the house doing things outside, inside. I have a variety of little notebooks, pocket notebooks, everyday carry types of binders. I've tried out many different ones. They're really just glorified notebooks because I mostly use them just to collect thoughts or notes. So I'm writing in them, analog notes. It's basically too many inboxes, honestly, and it's fine because I tend to write a lot of notes and thoughts, and that's just the kind of thing that I do. It's not always important because sometimes it's just like a random thought or it's journaling, whatever. But I just realized that it's very disparate, like it's all over the place because I have so many different inboxes. If you've heard of the GTD, getting things done method, these inboxes, yes, it's good because you're supposed to write everything down to get it out of your head, but you're supposed to have like designated inboxes, and more importantly, you need to clear them out, right? You need to process them. Like each entry, you're supposed to at some point, like, is it to be archived? Is it an appointment? Is it a task? Is it something you need to schedule, etc., etc.? So my problem is not that I'm not getting things out of my head and writing it down. It's that maybe I have way too many notes and way too many inboxes and I don't process them. And maybe it's because it's not the fun part, It's sort of like, wah, wah, now you got to figure out how to do these things or where they need to go or if they need to be archived, or maybe you had so many cool ideas, but you realize you don't have any time to do any of these things. So it's just not always the most fun, which that's another problem, I guess. But maybe that's why I avoid it. But I have tried using my phone as well, like just go all digital, because obviously we always have our phone on us, and that would be, sort of nice as an everyday carry kind of thing if you could combine it all into that. But I don't know. It just it doesn't have that analog component, and definitely journaling, like having to type a lot, doesn't really work on the phone with me. I don't like it at all. And I've tried like small EDC type binders. I've also tried the passport size TN, as well as just pocket size bound notebooks. It works fine for taking notes. So I definitely have huge collections of notes to process. It's almost like I'm making myself more work day by day, right? I'm just writing more and more entries. But I have not tried to duplicate like my plans in an EDC. So I fell down the rabbit hole of exploring Mini 5 ring planners and sort of lusted over like the Plotter Mini 5, but it's nearly impossible to get here in Europe, and importing and all that kind of stuff would just be like a huge cost. And because the supplies are not easily accessible here, it just doesn't seem like a very good option to go with, and I did order a Moterm Mini 5 planner. I have an unboxing on my channel, so you can go check it out. But basically, it's way more chunky than I thought. I just thought it would be more compact for some reason. I mean, it's the smallest one that, well, no, it's not the smallest one, because the smallest one is like the 3-ring A9 size, but that's like too small for me, I think. But it's a Mini 5 planner, but yeah, it's just very spacious and very chunky. The rings are huge, so it wasn't really working in terms of being a portable, like, everyday carry. And when I say everyday carry, I don't even mean in a purse like most people. I mean, sometimes when I go out, yes, but most of the time, I'm talking about like around the house, like upstairs, downstairs, like we have 3 stories. So it's just like all around the house. But like technically people would be like, well, you're at home, so can't you just use whatever size planner because you're just at home, right? But it's just not handy. And when anything is like big, I'm just leaving it at my desk. So when you're not at your desk, you don't have any of that information. So I just wanted something portable with all of the planner information. I also wanted it like not a duplicate. I wanted to replace this like sheets of paper, because a Mini 5 would take up so much less physical space in general, even on my desk. Like, we're always looking for more desk space, right? I always find myself throwing this sheet like here and there. It's just not conducive, you know what I mean, to being like so neat and tidy and small like a Mini 5 planner. So that was like my reasoning for wanting it. And I realized that I do have a lot of in-between time. Like, I'm a mom of 3, and I also work freelance projects. So time is limited, and there isn't like a regular schedule. So when I'm not physically at my desk, I might have lots of in-between time, but I don't have all my stuff with me, so I can't like actually do anything. But when I'm like literally waiting for the water to boil, you know what I mean? Like when you're cooking and doing household tasks, there's a lot of multitasking and there's a lot of like wait times and in between times. And most of the time I would just scroll on social media because it's like the easy thing that you don't need to be focused, you know what I mean, to do. And it's fine to like scroll social media sometimes and watch videos and relax. But I thought that I could probably use a lot of those little bits of times for more intentional, like directed thinking or brainstorming if I had like my stuff with me and not have to like run 3 stairs like up to my desk. And when I have things like more clearly planned out in my mind and brainstorming and all that kind of stuff, it's much more clear and it will be faster when I actually get to my desk and have to do it. And I'm talking personally in the context of like design a lot of the times. If I brainstorm very specifically, like the motifs, the layouts, the things I want to try out, when I get to my desk, I just have a better idea of what I'm going to do and I jump right in rather than opening up a blank artboard and then like, okay, be creative now, must design XYZ, you know what I mean? It's just different when you've done a lot of like that pre-thinking work beforehand. So it's sort of like doing sketchbook work, you know, like for artists, but much more of the thinking, brainstorming part than the actual like drawing and scanning part, if that makes sense. So basically I ended up getting a Filofax Finsbury Mini 5 in slate gray, and I actually thought this was much darker when I looked at like pictures and things, but I think I got confused because there's a much older version of the Finsbury Mini that is very dark gray, but the current model, this is the current model slate gray that you can still buy at the Filofax like official website. But it's fine. It's a Mini 5 ring planner and sort of like a wallet setup because it has the back pocket. I didn't do an unboxing of this because I just dove right into it to try it out, and I'm doing like experimenting and testing. So yeah, I have not done any kind of flip or anything yet. But basically, I'm trying to transform the information I have in that I previously had of these giant sheets of paper into this inbox EDC kind of mini binder and combine like the inbox stuff, you know, so it's all in one place. And being that it has such small rings, you can't really fill it up like for a long period of time. You have to process it. So it will sort of like force me to go through and process all of the inbox stuff more often. And I have been trying like many different variations of like monthly calendars because it is really small. The Mo term is very chunky and spacious compared to this. This is like much more compact. I don't like, you know, going horizontal, even though if you had a horizontal layout, the calendar would be bigger. But I just tried a bunch of different monthly options, like small boxes, doing a list after, a linear calendar, I don't know. So I ended up with this monthly calendar layout. It's still tiny. I don't know if it'll work in the long term, but it's basically like the plotter style, where the weekends are stacked. And it sort of makes sense because I realize that I don't really write a lot of stuff on the weekends. I don't have a million items anyway in general. Like someone else with many different appointments on a day, you obviously wouldn't be able to write everything on such a small calendar, but I usually don't have that much stuff. So on the weekends, especially if it's like a birthday or event, that would be the only like sort of note. I wouldn't have any, you know, work or planned scheduled stuff there. So hopefully this keeps working. We'll see in September when the kids are back in school. So that's a monthly calendar, and I made myself like tracker pages to check off daily things. Basically just trying to help myself do all the things. This is not a perfect system yet. I am still experimenting and seeing what I need, what helps with productivity, and just seeing how it goes in this mini planner. That is what I have for, you know, planning, whether I'm at my desk or wherever in the house, or throwing it in my purse. Of course, I do also have a reference planner that has stuff I don't touch daily. It has like lists, like waiting on orders, collections kind of stuff. It's in this Filofax Chester binder. So I only use it when I need to reference something, which I would be like at my desk, and when I'm processing my inbox, so I'm like inserting information into this reference planner. So really that's the extent of my planning. I don't do as much as other people. I don't have as busy as a schedule, like, 500 appointments a day kind of thing. So I guess that's why it's possible to put it in this, small thing, and we'll see how it expands, and as I add things, what will happen. I also do have like scratch paper, notebooks, like that kind of thing at my desk, but it's not something that I would ever reference again, or use again or keep, so I don't see a need to like change that, if that makes sense. Like scratch paper is just literally scratch paper, like a scratch pad, a legal notepad or whatever on my desk. That's always been there, and that's, obviously still part of the planning process, but again, I don't need it there. Like, I think some people who do daily pages or things like that use their pages also for that reason, but I don't need it to be together, so I just don't see the need to like have a bigger planner, perhaps because of that. I don't know. Anyways, so that is the planning front. Those are the things that I have going on right now. And on the journaling front, I'm still doing my 3-year Midori diary entries. They are like quick sentences of what happened or anything significant or interesting that day. And even if I don't write it daily, because honestly these days, like, I'm really tired at the end of the night, so I don't do a lot of journaling like the way that I might have done in the past. So I'm more so catching up on the weekends. But it's definitely easy to do. I have my daily log to refer to, and so I'm continuing on with this. And my memory keeping is still in my Midori One Day One Page in this beautiful Elysian paper already cover. I use my TWSBI and Extra Fine like exclusively in here, and I just keep it all consistent. So basically in the monthlies, I have an overview of like what happened kind of thing, minimal deco, but the pages are undated, so it just means I add in memory keeping pages as we go along. Pictures of my kids, family, that kind of stuff, and do my memory keeping and journaling, and I basically catch up on like weekly or monthly basis, depending on how things go, and I don't really have a huge trouble keeping up with it. Again, I've been doing this type of memory keeping in like an A5 size for like years and years and years, so it's probably the thing that's like easiest for me to keep up, like from my scrapbooking days. So this is going well, and you can see it's very chunky. I cannot help it, but I just, I keep ephemera, and I'm obviously adding photos every single page, so it gets really chunky. But I just really like things to be in like yearly, you know what I mean? To have like a whole year in one book, it's just so nice. So can't help it. It's gonna be super chunky like this. Even though like my vacations and travel, like that kind of stuff, those are always in traveler's notebooks, so it is separate, and it's never really part of my year-long memory keeping because I'm not gonna like double it up kind of thing, which I guess helps to reduce the bulk, because like a whole month might not be included in this, because it's in my traveler's notebooks. For example, last year when we were traveling to the United States, we were there for like a long time, so those months were just in traveler's notebooks, and I actually still have to catch up and finish up these, but you can see that they're very chunky. And this year, the whole month of August, we have visitors, so it's really going to be like vacation time, so I'm doing that in traveler's notebooks as well. So I'm mentioning now my traveler's notebooks. I need to do a video like revisiting all of these and catching up, because it's sort of like a mess right now. I mean, I have things in there, but sometimes I just like throw things in and haven't journaled it yet, because I have a lot of like theme journals, and of course there are the vacation and travel ones. This olive one I've shown before. I do have a flip through of this on my channel. It's the stationary happy mail log in Traveler's Journal. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff, and I've actually been doing a lot of writing in my Passport Dated Weekly here. It's like my current events kind of journaling, where I get to complain and scream about all the political issues and world events that piss me off, and it's all in here because like I don't show this to anyone, so I can be totally free and say what I want, and yeah, it's therapeutic for me to rant. So that's what this is, which brings me to maybe some other sad journals that have been neglected. So I do have a personal journal that is in this Kimbor A6. I decided to do prompted journaling in this. And it was specifically like prompted journaling, not just like a free-for-all because I have other places for that, but prompted journaling for like self-discovery, self-development, that kind of thing. And I started off in January, and I do have a flip through of all the January pages. But I've just been behind. So it is dated, but I guess it doesn't matter that it's dated because it's just prompted journaling, right? But that's the idea behind this, but I'm just sorely behind because I guess I've been doing a lot of just free journaling, and so I don't know, even though prompted journaling is very good to make you think about things that you wouldn't normally maybe think about at the moment, but I just haven't had the time for that, I guess. So yeah, very behind on this. And then I also have this Magic of I planner that I showed the beginning of the year. It's so beautiful. I had been admiring this planner for years, and so I bought one thinking that I can do an astrology kind of journaling learning thingy, but it's so dense with information. It's so complicated. Like for me, I really don't think it's for beginners, even though they say you can be a beginner. Obviously you can just use it like a regular planner, but I was really just interested in the topic. But I feel like there's just this huge barrier to understand everything. They do have all these codes and notes on like each day and the meanings and all that kinds of things, interpretations, but I would have to keep flipping back to the reference page and read what it meant, and everything is just so new to me and I know nothing. So yeah, I haven't used it at all. I tried to do the beginning, like the astrology, whatever, house stuff, and I don't know, it's just all intimidating, and it's not easy as a total beginner, and obviously I'm not putting in the time to really understand it. I feel like I need a class or something, someone to take me through like week by week to learn it, and then I would be able to like journal in this. The planner's so beautiful, of course, and it's dated for 2024, but it's practically unused. I will just have to ignore the dates and use it for something else in the future. But yeah, this was a total fail. Like, it's just so pretty. I bought it, wanted with like good intentions, but just no time or energy to make the time to learn all the things and do the project the way I intended to do the project. So it is abandoned. And part of the reason why like these like good ideas are often abandoned for me is because I'm like busy doing something else, right? So I did a video on my Moleskine daily journal that I have here, which is a new addition, right? Because I wanted just like a different daily journals into the Moleskines, and I just use this as my catch-all everything journal, and it's dated, and it's supposed to be my catch-all for like anything, right? But then I started using it for certain challenges on Instagram. So like Junk Journal July, that's what I'm doing it for the month of July. That's why it's super chunky too, because I'm adding so much stuff in it. But it's supposed to be like a catch-all creative journal where I can do anything that I want, anything goes, even if it's just like 2 minutes a day, on a daily basis. And so there's this like free space to do anything creative, and it's a big contrast to like my many themed and like project oriented journals that have like a particular or certain way that I've set up that it has to be like journaled, right? Whereas this is just like anything goes. So that's what I'm using consistently as my creative journal. And I also have another little journal that has been taking up my time that is new. In this passport size, I'm just doing daily journaling. So I have another insert in here. It's like writing morning pages, but it's not in the morning, and it's not always just like a brain dump. It could be any kind of journaling, but about a specific something when I feel like, oh, I want to journal, you know, and I need a place to do it. But like in my Moleskine Daily, if I'm doing the challenge in the month of January or in the month of July, where I'm going to write it, right? Because I don't have that catch-all anymore. So that's why I started this passport, like blank journal just to write in. And it's because I saw videos by Anna Jolene here on YouTube. She started daily journaling in the passport size, and I thought it was such a great idea. And I have done it before, like daily journaling in passport size or in like small pocket notebooks. And it's just really nice because it gives you that outlet that's there, but it's so small, so it's not intimidating that you're gonna have to fill up a giant page, but you could go as many pages as you want if you did want to. So it's just working for me right now as a place to write thoughts, kind of journaling. And yeah, and this is also something I don't really show. And so that is the journaling there. And finally, I mean, I guess I probably have like a million other journals somewhere else that are not used, but I have been in a bit of a craze. And you might notice if you look at my old videos, if I've done any unboxings, but on the secondhand, vintage, like used marketplace, I keep buying binders and things like, I mean, I don't need them for planning. They're not for planning. They're more for just play, or journaling, I guess, because my thought is that even if it's a ring-bound planner, it doesn't have to be for planning. It's like a journal, but with rings. You can put pages and like put pages in and swap them, like the order and things like that. So hopefully I'll be able to share what I'm talking about soon. I have like a couple A5 ones already going and other small project ones. Yeah, I just haven't had time to really dive into it. But obviously these are like fun time projects, right? They're not like scheduled work or anything. It's just a hobby, stationery stuff that I love, and it's ongoing, so there always will be more that I want to do. There's just never enough time, right, to do it all. But yeah, so that is the planner and journal situation at the moment that I can think of. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. So my final thoughts, like, I realized that on the planning front, I do have a lot of in-between time in my day, those waiting times. So that's why I've sort of been thinking about like how to use up that time wisely. Not that we have to fill up every single second of our day with like productivity things, because that's not the point. Like, it's more just to be more intentional and strategic with my time rather than just automatically defaulting to like surfing social media, and it's all just to work on my own self-development and also priorities and expectations of myself. Like, I think that in my culture, maybe also, but in all of culture, right? It just seems like we're obsessed with doing more, optimization, upping productivity. Like, that is always like a goal, right? But is it really what we want? Like, do we want to do more? When is enough enough, So definitely a lot of thoughts and that kind of thing when it comes to like the planning arena and just trying to figure out that kind of stuff for my own personal development. What are my priorities? What are my expectations for myself? All that kind of stuff. And on the journaling front, I am realizing there is a difference between journaling for fun and journaling for archive and keeps. Meaning, like, some projects and efforts, like my memory keeping, obviously it's for archive. It's something special that I'm making for my family or for myself, and it is to keep, So, I've been doing that for many, many years. I sort of know the reasons why I do it, and I guess that's why it's like very much a habit and motivated to do it because of that. But I have to realize that there are many journals and creative journals that I do that is just for fun, and I don't have to keep it forever. If you're interested in journal flips, I have a whole playlist of like journal show and tell series, because I have over like 20 some years of journals that I have with me here, and I'm trying to declutter. I've been trying to clean. I haven't gotten to my attic yet, so we'll get there one day. But as I go through, I'm doing a flip to have a record of the journal digitally, but then I'm trying to decide, like, do I really want to keep this journal, like, physically? Do I need to? Because often when we do, like, art and creative things, it's just for fun. It's for the process, or I'm experimenting or learning something new. It's very much worth it and valid, obviously, to do all these creative things, but you don't always have to keep the page, you know what I mean, the result. I feel like as a society we often put more value into physical items, even though from like research and like scientific research tells us that experiences actually produce more happiness than like physical things, because when you buy something you just get that dopamine rush, right? Like shopping, but it it doesn't give you as much happiness as experiences and things like that with your loved ones. But anyways, that is a topic that can go on forever and has many nuances. But basically, in the journaling front, my thoughts is just realizing that it's okay to trash pages if I don't want them anymore, to get rid of old journals if it's just done with. I don't have to keep it. And that has also helped me, like my mind, it opens up more freedom for me in my journaling process currently, because it means not every page is going to be archived. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Journaling can just be for fun, and it's a creative process. It's almost like practice. Like when you're practicing, it's practice. It's just to do the thing. You don't really, it doesn't matter, like the result or whatever. So it's fine to just do it and let myself go free in the process and not care about, the materials, the end product, the final page, how it will be archived. Basically, I overanalyze sometimes when I'm doing something, when I should just be more in the moment, if that makes sense. So definitely lots of learnings, even in my journaling journey that has been already going on for so long. Yeah, so I probably have more stuff somewhere. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. But those are the major items for now, and I hope you had fun and maybe got some interesting nuggets of information as you've been listening to me. Thank you so much for being here through my planner and journal chat. As always, let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or feedback. I would love to hear from you. And I thank you for watching this video and supporting me here. And by the way, if you love journaling and using digital printables, I am building my community on Ko-fi. You can check out the link in the description to find out more. But basically, join as a member and you get all the digital printables I post on my Ko-fi feed, from art prints to digital papers to journaling cards. You can also buy the designs in my shop one-off if you prefer that. And I also have a blog with totally free printables that you can try out, tortajala.com. Go check it out and let me know what you think. Thanks so much, and until next time, bye.